All right, let's get started. So good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's still staying safe and healthy out there, whether we're still at home or back to work or whatever we're doing. We always wish you guys the best. Just want to welcome and thank you all for attending Cloudpoint Geospatial's webinar on SignOps and GIS, pointing the way to better sign management. My name is Bill Steele. I handle the business development and marketing for Cloudpoint. Mike Gennard, one of our GIS technicians at Cloudpoint, he's going to walk us through our one-stop turnkey resource for managing sign inventories. And of course, we're working hard to continually bring you more content and webinars. So coming up a couple of weeks, we have actually first part of a three-part series of webinars. They're going to kind of join together, kind of build on top of each other. So that's on Survey 123, Survey 123 Connect, and just functionalities in that. So that's going to be a really, really cool webinar series. So definitely check that out and make sure and sign up, follow for all three parts of that one. But first part's coming up July 22nd. Then after that in August, we've got a webinar on parcel fabric, reprisal of that we've done, and then also another webinar going back over our indoors application, how that works with GIS, mapping indoor facilities for facilities management. That's at the end of August. So of course you can go to cloudpointgeo.com/webinars for our full listing there. We've got webinars scheduled throughout the whole rest of the year. So go there, check out, and sign up. So of course we use Zoom for all our webinars, and just to let you guys know or kind of remind you how that works, of course your cameras and microphones are off. We will take questions. So if you have questions, we'll try to get those at the end. Click the little Q&A button down at the bottom of your toolbar. Box will pop up. You can submit your questions through there. And of course the chat room also works. So if you need to send us a message, myself or Mike, you can put something in there, especially like if you can't hear us or see us or something like that. So go ahead and make use of that. So some of you guys are familiar with us, but just to fill you in, we work in a lot of sectors: public works facilities, land records, even cemeteries. And as a trusted Esri business partner, we help people drive intelligent decision-making using mapping technology. And of course, one of our solutions is SignOps. It's a web-based application for tracking, managing your inventory of traffic signs, efficient, very user-friendly, and helps keep your signs legally compliant and your community safer. And here to tell us more about that is Mike. Go ahead, Mike, take it away.
All right, thank you, Bill. Appreciate the introduction. Go ahead and take the wheel here. Share my screen. All right, everybody, thank you again for being with us. So just kind of an outline for today's webinar. I'm just going to hit on a few things kind of at an overview level for SignOps, and a quick PowerPoint here. We'll hit some slides. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hop into the application itself and just kind of take a little tour, see some of the functionalities of the SignOps solution as we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So really, what is SignOps? And as Bill was saying, SignOps is a complete sign inventory management solution. So really, SignOps does provide that turnkey sign inventory management system that gives its users a web-based, intuitive, mobile-friendly application for updating their sign inventory, tracking their sign history, and even performing real-time inspections on their signs. SignOps also allows its users to access the mobile device's camera and has built-in scanner integration to scan barcodes on signs for a simple, complete, robust sign inventory management solution. So some of the key aspects of SignOps that I always like to point out to people are really four things: mobility and accessibility, the location aspect of SignOps, the ability to perform inspections on the signs in the inventory, and the amount of records and reports that SignOps, the solution, manages and allows access for its users. So on the mobility side, SignOps is a web-based solution. So again, we're going to be able to access the SignOps solution from any desktop or mobile device. And another benefit of that is it's going to be universal. The feel, the look, the use of SignOps. Since it's web-based, it's not going to be set up one way on a desktop computer, and it's not going to operate completely different on a mobile device. Since it is web-based, it's going to be a universal fit and feel across devices and platforms. And since it's also web-based, we can have multiple users editing and managing the inventory simultaneously at the same time. As far as the location aspect of SignOps goes, SignOps leverages the device's built-in GPS, and in the field, data collection capabilities are enhanced with this technology. We can also perform inspections on our signs. We just simply input parameters as kind of a guide for a streamlined sign inspection process that really kind of streamlines the whole thing. And as far as records and reports goes, we're going to be able to have access to a lot of different information regarding our sign inventory. Some of those reports include all the signs we purchased, signs we've sold. Of course, we're going to be able to access all of our maintenance records for signs. We can see signs that we've retired out of our inventory, and we can see as a flat file, sign data, and we can also export our sign data to use in a GIS system as well. So what all data does the SignOps solution track? Well, this is just kind of a snapshot of some of it here, some of the main stuff. We can see obviously the MUTCD code of signs, their dimensions, their sheeting, their text, our manufacturers and suppliers, what signs we have in stock. We're also going to be able to track some of our assembly information to our signpost information when it comes to the mount type, the post type, bracing, supports. We're going to be able to track jurisdictions, and again, we're going to be able to access records, and most importantly, we're going to be able to see signs that we've marked as, hey, this sign is in need of attention and needs to perform or needs to have some sort of maintenance performed on that sign. And really, barcodes are kind of like the backbone of the SignOps solution. SignOps utilizes barcodes for improved asset management, and really the barcode process is kind of the workflow through the SignOps solution. So a barcode provides a sign with a unique identification code that uniquely identifies one sign from a next, and that code will live with that sign throughout its entire lifespan in the SignOps application. And so again, with kind of that scanner integration, that barcode scanning provides some rapid response and data retrieval when we're going out in the field and we need to pull up some data on our signs. We can have several lines of information retrieved from just one barcode scan, so we can pull up all the relevant information we need on our signs using the barcode scanning. And we can also eliminate the likelihood of entering incorrect information when we utilize the barcode scanning too. And just overall, the barcodes, they really accelerate the data entry and editing process. Here's kind of an example, since we're still stuck behind the screen here, we can still see some pictures of this in action. So we can see the barcodes can be highly customizable to match your organization's wants and desires. And we can see kind of this integration with the SignOps application and the mobile aspect in the field. When we scan the barcode on the signs, we're going to be able to pull up the relevant information and inventory our signs much quicker. So SignOps itself, again, a very intuitive interface that enables users to collect, edit, and maintain their sign inventories. And the application is broke down into 4 workflows. And it's really those workflows that break down and utilize the application for what the intended purposes are. So we're going to have the four key areas. Our sign shop workflow is where we're going to be able to enter our purchases, assign our signs their barcodes, sell signs, and view all of our signs that we have currently in stock. Our in the field tab in the solution, we're going to be able to maintain all of our data out in the field. We'll be able to scan and perform inspections on our signs. Our reports tab is where we're going to pull all of our relevant information regarding our sign inventory. And the administrative tab is where we're going to have the administrative users be able to manage their organization's sign types, input manufacturers, sheeting definitions, suppliers, and the users. So at this point, I want to go ahead and take a look at the SignOps application itself. Just kind of a quick run through here and show you some of the capabilities of the solution. So first, when we log into the SignOps application, this is kind of the home screen. And again, I just want to reiterate, using the SignOps solution, since it is, again, a web-based solution, It's accessed from a web browser. So again, we're going to be having the same look and feel here on my laptop, on my desktop, that I'm going to be having out in the field, say if I were on an iPad or another mobile device. So once we have the SignOps solution pulled up, it's going to be universal, and the field is going to be the same across platforms. So here's kind of our home page. Once we log into the solution, we're going to be able to see our organization title up here on the left. We're going to be able to access our specific account information over here on the right. We can also see this is kind of our updates log, so we can kind of keep track, and once we release new updates, which we try to do at least annually here with the SignOps application, we'll be able to see that log and those updates kind of as they're released and rolled out to you. So you'll be able to see those updates that we are making to our application. Here's going to be our 4 tabs that I kind of mentioned to you before. We're going to have our Sign Shop tab, In the Field tab, our Reports tab, and our Admin tab. These are going to be where we'll go to access all those different workflows within the Sign inventory solution. So I'm going to take a quick tour through each one of those tabs and just kind of break down again what we can do with each one of them. So in our Sign Shop tab, we can see here's where we're going to enter our purchases, assign our signs barcodes. So we're going to be able to have the ability to sell signs if your organization does that. We just kind of like to give the clients the options if that's what their organization does. We can also see the signs that we have not assigned barcodes to. We've entered them as purchases, but hey, they're just they're sitting in the shop. They don't have barcodes on them yet. And here we can see the signs that we do have in stock that they're sitting in the shop with barcodes ready to go out into the field. Whether they're going to be installed as a new sign or they're replacing an old sign, we're going to be able to see those there. So I'm going to go through just a quick workflow here. We're going to see what it looks like when we purchase signs for our organization. We're going to be given some input parameters that will kind of guide us through this process. First, we're going to pick a supplier. I'm just going to say for this example, ABC Signs is where we're going to be getting our signs from today. And here we're going to be able to select a sign type. We're going to have a couple different ways to do that. We could use a drop-down. We could use the search code that's going to be able to pull up if we search the MUTCD code. We're going to be able to see those options there. Or we can also browse the sign types here, kind of as an overview here to help us with the regulatory signs, warning signs, guide signs, and so on and so forth. So for today, I want to purchase some stop signs. So you can see our R-1 for our stop signs there. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select my sign type. I'm going to do R1-1. You can see it pulls up our stop signs. I'm going to be able to select the dimensions. Say these are just going to be 48 by 48. I'll be able to select my sheeting. I'll be able to enter some sign text, whatever text appears in the sign, what date those signs were manufactured, and the manufacturer of those signs. And then I'm going to say, how many do I want to buy? I'll just say I want to buy 3. So when I click save, it's going to say purchase saved. And now if I'm able to go to our signs that are unassigned, I'm going to be able to see, hey, here's my new signs. I've got the stop signs purchased in my 48 by 48 dimensions, my diamond gray sheeting, and we can say, here's the date that we purchased. To the right, we're going to see all of our previous purchases too. We're going to be able to see this information, how many signs that we've purchased of that particular sign type and how many we've used and assigned barcodes to kind of take those away from the total purchased. So let's go through the process of assigning a barcode to a sign. So when I select the Assign Barcodes tab, what it's going to do is it's going to pull up kind of a similar looking screen. It's going to show us what sign type we're looking at, the dimensions, again, all of those specific sign attributes, and again, how many we've purchased and how many we have available to assign barcodes to. So say I want to assign a barcode to one of the signs that I have just purchased. Here's where we can use that built-in scanner integration where we can scan a specific barcode that'll pull up and apply to the sign. Since I don't have my scanner on me, what I'm going to do is I can also manually enter the sign ID, the tag ID. So in this case, we're going to go with sign ID 5. I'm going to click Save. And it's going to scan every time I do that. It's going to scan my inventory. It's looking for that same ID code So if I've already got a sign with that same tag ID, it's not going to let me use that again, just so it has a unique, each sign has a unique identifier to uniquely identify that sign. So once I've done that, I can see that that sign has shown up with that tag ID in my signs in stock and say, hey, this sign, it's got a barcode, it's ready to go out into the field. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and let's take a quick look at out in the field, see kind of our workflow out there. So when I go into in the field, I'm going to be able to see my map, scan sign, and inspect sign. So here's where I'm going to be able to see those functionalities. Say I want to take a look at my map. It's going to pull up a map with my my location there. My laptop is a little bit funky when it comes to location, so that's not exactly where I am, but what it's going to do is it's going to pull up your location on your device, and it's going to give you a radius here. So when we're in that radius, every sign that we've got inventoried in that radius, it's going to pull that sign up for us. And that's just kind of a way of not overwhelming the user, of saying, it's not going to pull up every single sign in your inventory if you're just in this one radius. So that's just kind of a way of better managing the app. So say that sign I just purchased, I want to add an inventory, that new sign out in the field. So that workflow kind of goes like this. Over here on the right, we can see a create assembly. And the hierarchy of the SignOps solution, we have assemblies that mimic real-world sign posts and sign mounts. And then from that assembly, we're going to be able to attach our signs that we've assigned the barcodes to. So in this instance, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create an assembly, and it's going to take my current location, and that's where it's going to add that assembly to. Of course, if I want to move it, say, hey, that's not my exact location, I need to put it, you know, a little bit closer to the road, you know, I can manually select that from the map as well. So here I'm going to be able to enter in some attributes regarding this assembly. I'm going to be able to select the mount type, what type of assembly the signpost is going to be, if there's any lateral bracing, and a road name. So here is where we're going to put in our road name. So it looks like we're on North Cummings Lane here, so I'm going to go ahead and enter that as my road name. Number of supports, when we see what side of the road that we're going to enter this sign on, looks like we're going to go ahead and we're going to put it on the east side of the road. And we can enter any comments here regarding our assembly. We'll just say this is a demo assembly. And then once we go ahead and we click save, now it's going to pull up, hey, okay, you've created your assembly. Do you want to add a sign to this assembly? And so here again is where we could utilize our built-in scanner functionality. We could, if we had a barcode scanner accessible, we could do that here. Or in this case, we can also just enter in the tag ID. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the tag ID of the sign I had just assigned that tag ID to. It's going to pull up automatically with an install date of today. And we're going to say what direction is the sign facing. We're going to say this sign is facing south. And again, we can enter in any comments associated with this sign too. So we'll go ahead and we'll click save. And we can see now our new stop sign has been attached to this assembly on North Cummings Lane. So once we're looking at our assembly, we can scroll down to the bottom and we're going to be able to see and manage our signs associated with that assembly down here. Again, assembly can hold multiple signs. So say this instance this assembly, for instance, has 3 signs on it. We're going to be able to add those other signs to this assembly as well. We can also edit any of the signs that are on this assembly. So if I go to edit the stop sign here, we can see I can change any of this information, but it's also going to pull up the information that I associated with the sign when I purchased it. So it's going to pull up that sheeting information, the supplier, manufacturer date, the dimensions, so on and so forth. Here we can also see a maintenance history of all of our signs in the field. We're going to be able to see all of our maintenance records here. We can see an installation record. A maintenance record is automatically created when I install a sign on assembly. The same goes for when I retire a sign from an assembly. It's going to create a retired maintenance record. Every time I perform an inspection, it's also going to automatically create a maintenance record for the specific sign. Speaking of inspections, I always like to show off this functionality here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to inspect our signs. Here's kind of where it's going to pull up our parameters. We're going to be able to specify whether we're looking at a night or day inspection. Here's where we'll be able to select our road. So I want to do an inspection on North Cummings Lane. we can select all of our signs facing directions. So we're looking for signs that are facing south, and we're going to be able to select our travel bearing. So we're looking for signs. We're going to inspect the signs facing south as we travel north on North Cummings Lane. We're going to go ahead and click search, and we're going to see it's going to pull up our sign here. And it's going to pull up all of our signs in the order in which we're going to hit them as we travel. So it's going to take our current location, that built-in GPS location functionality, and then what it's going to do is it's going to say, here's my location. And since you gave me all the parameters, we're looking at all the signs facing south as we travel north. Given your current location, I'm going to pull up all the signs that meet those criteria in the order in which your current location will pass those signs. So as we're performing our inspection, we're going to be able to see whether our sign is going to pass or fail. And if we want to edit a particular sign, say we come across a sign and we notice the sign has come off the assembly, or some maintenance is required with that sign, we're going to be able to edit that sign and access all that good sign information and perform any maintenance as required. Say, for instance, we do our inspection and say, hey, this sign looks good, nothing out of the ordinary, visibility is still great, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to click pass. Say I do want to pull up our sign here. We're going to be able to come down and we're going to be able to see, again, from our maintenance records list, again, at the bottom of the page here, we're going to be able to see, again, our installation record and our inspection record here too. We're going to say this is a night inspection performed by my user, and our comments is going to say, hey, this sign passed an inspection. Say, for instance, our sign failed the inspection. Something is not right with the sign, and so say we were to click fail. What that's going to do is that's going to automatically mark this sign as needing attention. Of course, we could do this manually here too as well. So I'm going to mark this sign as needing attention. I'm going to go ahead and click save. And then what that's going to do is going to give us a way, and we're going to transition here to our next tab, our reports tab. And from our reports tab, we're going to be able to see a good long list of information associated with our signs in our assembly. So say we've got a list of some signs that we've marked as, hey, these signs require attention, these signs require a specific maintenance aspect. We're going to be able to see that list of signs from our needs attention report. Say I select that report, it's going to pull up, again, the list of signs that I've flagged as needing attention. These signs need maintenance. So here I'm going to be able to see the long list of signs, and you can use this report to maybe prioritize maintenance schedules or prioritize specific actions from there. And the other reports tabs work the same way. Say we want to see all of the signs that we have out in the field by type. We're going to be able to select on summary. So out in the field, we have stop signs that are 30 by 30 with this sheeting. We've got one of those signs currently in the field. And the sign that we added today and during our webinar here, we're going to be able to see is also a stop sign, 48 by 48 with diamond grade sheeting. We've got also one of those out in the field. So that's kind of how reports operate. We're also going to be able to download those reports as CSV files that we can open in Excel, and then we're going to be able to work with that data that way as well. We can also see some of our data extracts where we can download those signs with lat-long coordinates and interact with those in a GIS. From our admin tab, real quick to kind of hit on that, we're going to be able to see this is where our admin users for the organization are going to be able to set those organization-wide inputs. So say we've got some specific sheeting definitions in our organization that our organization likes to use. The way we're going to be able to control that list is through this admin tab. We're going to be able to add a new one. And this is kind of universal across the admin tab. Everywhere that we're going to be able to control these inputs, we're going to be able to do that from this process. Say I want to add a new sheeting to my organization so that when my users enter in new sign purchases, they're going to be able to have this option for them. So say I want to add in a new test sheeting. We'll go ahead and click save. We can see that test sheeting has now been entered as an option on our list. Again, this is kind of a universal workflow across our admin inputs. So we're going to be able to control all of these lists from this tab here. And to kind of wrap it up today, hopefully you guys were able to get a good feel for the SignOps application, just kind of from our PowerPoint and our webinar here, doing a demo of the application. But I'm more than happy now at this point to take any questions that may be out there for our last couple minutes of our webinar here.
Yeah, Mike, we did have one pop up. Someone wanted to know what or how do you track, what do you do if you have multiple signs per post?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'll kind of illustrate that real quick back in the application. If I've got another sign on a post, let me assign a barcode real quick to one of our stop signs here. So if I've got multiple signs on a post, what I'm going to be able to do with that post, say with this one here, I want to add another sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sign to this assembly, and this is our assembly we were working with earlier. I'm going to be able to do that here. Might need another, yeah, might need another 0 in there. Now let's see, let's select it from our inventory. And again, we're going to be able to put in which direction the sign is facing and the install date. So here what we're going to be able to do is we're going to see that sign show up as another input under our assembly. So one of the limitations of the SignOps application currently is from a visual perspective, when we're out in the field and we come across this assembly, we pull up our map here, what we're going to see is we're only going to see the top sign icon in this assembly. So for instance, if we have a stop sign here, a yield sign, and a speed limit sign here, all in the same assembly, if we've got our stop sign at the very top of our assembly list here, what we're going to be able to see is we're only going to be able to see that stop sign image currently in the map. That is kind of how one of the limitations of the application is currently. Of course, we can always reorder our sign panels, so if we wanted to see a different one on top, we could also do that as well. And one thing I like to tell clients is if you have 3 signs on an assembly, I like to have those categorized in the SignOps application the same way that they appear in the real world assembly. So say our assembly has a stop sign, a yield sign, and a speed limit sign in that order. That's how I would recommend that the client would put those in the SignOps application as well, just so it mimics as close to the real world setup as possible in the application.
All right, I've got one more here. Is there a limit to the number of tablets and or smartphones that can access signups?
That's a good question, and the answer is no. So as long as your organization has as much users, with the pricing levels here, it includes different levels of users. So say your organization has 10 users, you're going to be able to access, as long as you have 10 mobile devices for each user to sign in on. No, there's not going to be any limit to the number of devices per se that you're going to be able to use to access the SignOps application. Just as long as your organization has enough users as they have devices, no, there will be no limitations there on devices.
Perfect. All right, that's the last one we had. I am going to share back over to you, Mike, with some contact information here. So guys, thank you everyone that attended today. Hope you got some good information out of that. And of course, any more questions that might come up, or if you need us or want us to come and do a demo specifically for your organization, do reach out to us, cloudpointgo.com/signops. A little more information there on our website. And of course, my email's up there, bsteele@cloudpointgo.com. Phone number, that's actually my cell. Office number is 877-377-8124. Sorry about that. Should have changed that. Of course, we're all over social media. So follow us on there and stay up to date with what we're doing. But again, thank you guys for attending today. And any questions, do reach out. We hope to talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.